reaching out to me, and it's funny, we're talking about International Women's Day, and I said, I am a Jamaican national, so if you hear my accent, I am from Jamaica. So I figured, I said, wow, how appropriate for International Women's Day that I'm an international woman. And so I've lived in several countries as well. I'm also a veteran of the armed forces, and so I've lived in, like I said, quite a few countries, as well as being here in the U.S. I currently work for Chesterfield County Social Services as a senior benefits program specialist. And so, you know, but people are my passion. I love people. I love helping people. I love seeing people find out what it is that they're capable of doing. And a lot of times we don't always look and see ourselves as being the capable people that God has called us to do. And so when she asked me about speaking, the thought that came to mind is about, you know, as a senior, that we've all had dreams. There are things that we wanted to do when we were younger. You know, we were kids. Everybody wanted to be firefighter, policeman, wanted to be a nurse, we wanted to be a teacher, we wanted to be a doctor. You know, some maybe wanted to be a mom, or just whatever it was that you wanted to do. And then a lot of times, life gets in the way, and we get derailed in life. And so, how do we, at this age, get back and renew the dream that we once had? And so that's what we're talking about today, that we can live purposefully. We can do things at any age, regardless of how old you are. There's still life. And the thing that I thought about is that we all have breath. We all have life, right?
Yes.
We're all still breathing. We're all on the topsoil, you know? And so if you are still living, you are here for a purpose. You are here for a reason. God created you for a reason, for a purpose. That's why you're still here. You know, people are dying when they're younger. My mom in the back there, she used to have this plaque in the kitchen when we were growing up. And it said, don't regret growing old, because it's a privilege denied to many. And so that always stuck with me, that, you know, no matter what we go through, that it's a privilege to live the life that we have. And so how do we continue to live that life and live that life on purpose? And so I've got the definition here, and so we can live purposely. That means in a way that shows determination, with intention, or on purpose. So when we get up every day, we have to say to ourselves, what good am I going to do in this day? Who can I help today? Who can I inspire today? Whose life can I make better today? And so that's when we are intentional, when we get up and we're saying, you know what, even if it's just about saying, you know what, I'm going to have a good day today. Right? I got up, I can move, I can see, I can hear, I can speak. You know, these are all gifts that we have. And so how are we using the gifts that we have, of the gift of life? How are we using that every day when we get up? You know, what are you doing to make the best and the most of the life that you're currently living? Yeah, you may be old, you may be whatever the situation is, but we all have a purpose. We all have a reason for being here and remaining here. And then so, to live purposely means to take action. So you got to do something. So it's not enough to just say, I want to have a good day. What are you going to do to make your day good? What choice are you going to make today a good day? You know, and they said about our attitude determines how our day goes. So if you get up and you say, you know, today is going to be a horrible day, everything's going to go wrong, you know, this hurts, that hurts, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, what's going to happen to your day? It's going to be bad, yeah. You're going to have a horrible day because what? That was your mindset when you got up, that today was going to be a horrible day. And so when we say, you know what, doesn't matter what I'm going through, it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a great day. You know, I'm a cancer survivor. And when I was diagnosed 9 years ago, you know, the doctor told me I had a choice. You know, I was stage 3 breast cancer. And he's like, you have a choice. And so he was like, what do you want to do? Do you want to live or die? And I was like, I didn't think that was up to me. You know, whether I live or die. And he says, the way you look at this disease and the way you decide to live your life will determine whether or not you live or die. And so I made a choice. And every day I got up, I said, I spoke, I said, I'm gonna live and not die. I said, God, you called me for a reason. And that reason has not been fulfilled yet. And so I hadn't written those 2 books yet, you know, and working on my 3rd, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't have the ministry that I had if I had decided then to just lay down and die. And so I decided I was gonna live. And so 9 years later, here I am. Has it been easy? No. You know, but every day is still a choice. I'm still going to treatment, but every day is a choice. Every day is a decision that you get up and we say, you know what, I can lift my hands up. I can speak. I had my, one of my co-workers, her husband, on last Thursday, she got home, and he had a massive stroke. You know, he's 55 years old. You know, and I look at Luke Perry. I don't know if you guys know who he is. You know, we're the same age. You know, and here he was on the same day he had a stroke and he died on Monday. Her husband is still living. Why? What made the difference? And so we have that. We know people who have passed on, but we are still here. And so we are going to live on purpose. And it says that God wants to fulfill his purpose through us. And so what is it that God wants you to do? Is it just to offer a smile? You know, a smile goes a long way. You know, my friend here told me earlier, she said, I love people. And she was just talking, and she brought happiness to a lot of people just by the conversation, just by being. So it's not necessarily about the great things that we do. It could be the small thing, like just smiling.
Yeah, nice to people.
Just be nice to people, being kind.
Yeah.
You know, I work in a job where a lot of times the people aren't necessarily kind to me when they call, but I know that they're in a crisis situation when they're calling me. They don't have food to feed their families. You know, they don't have access to health care. And so, you know, they're sick and they're in desperate situations, and a lot of times they'll take that out on us as workers because they're in a bad place and they don't know how to deal with that. And I could, you know, say, you know, well, it's not my problem that you're here, you know. And so I have a choice too to say, you know what, I'm going to be kind to you regardless of how you speak to me or what you say to me, because you don't control my day. And I know the purpose of why I'm here. And I was like, God kept me alive for a reason. And so because I have that in mind, it makes my day go a lot better because I'm not focusing on the external things. It's like, what can I control about this? You know, what can I do within myself to make my day and make every interaction with people the best that I can possibly make it for them and for myself. And even the bad situations, what can I learn? So we're going to talk about some of those things. So Winston Churchill said, it's not enough to have lived. We should determine to live for something. So what are we living for? Why are we here? Why are we still here? What is he saying to you about why you're still here? What can you do today? So the first thing we're going to talk about is finding your purpose. What's your why? My why is all of you.
Yeah.
You know, I do this because I love to inspire others. And I share my story about overcoming the things that I've overcome in life. You know, when I go out and I tell other women who are going through these difficult situations, you know, whether it's, you know, domestic violence also came through. And I can inspire them to say, you that doesn't have to define who you are. You know, you can still be strong, you can still leave that situation and live the life, but this is not how God designed for you to live. And then how can you move beyond that? And, you know, there are so many different things. And so, my why is to make a positive impact on the lives of others and to allow them and to inspire them to see their God-given destiny and to find their purpose. You know, so that's my why. So even when I'm at work and I'm talking to someone on the phone and they're like, I don't know why I'm here, and this is going on in my life, and this is happening, and that's going on, and this, and that, and I don't have the education, and you know, I've got 4 or 5 kids, and I'm living here, and I can't find a job, and I don't have this, and I don't have that. And I said, okay, what are you good at? Let's start there. What are you good at? What do you like to do? You know, what moves you? That's your purpose. What moves you? What motivates you? What makes you happy? Where do you find joy in doing? What comes to mind when you think of purpose? What do you think about? You know, what are those things that, you know, you think about it and you're like, you know what, even if nobody paid me, if I could just do this, that's your why. You know, that's your why. You know, that is, you know, I heard Mrs. Sal here singing, and I was like, look at him. And I thought about, you know, just the inspiration of listening to him sing. And, you know, he got up there and there was joy in that. And so his purpose could be to give joy to others by singing.
He does.
He gives joy, yeah. So that's his purpose. So somebody may say, well, you know.
You know what my dad used to tell me?
What's that?
You better be nice to everybody. I don't know who they are or what they are. And if you're not, you know what's going to happen to you.
Yeah. And so, yes, we should be nice to each other. We should be kind. And kindness goes a long way. When we are kind to others, that kindness comes back to us. How we treat others, it comes back to us. When we look and we go with joy, and joy takes over everything else.
Yeah.
And, you know, and you could be having a bad day, but, you know, we all have those bad days, but it's only a day. And so our one bad day should not determine the entire rest of the life that we have, you know. And so we all have different reasons. So in order to live that life purposely, we gotta be strategic. We gotta think about it. What is one thing I can do today? Where can I start today to make someone's life better? You know, without being selfish. And yeah, well, we're gonna talk about self-care. We gotta take care of ourselves because we can't help somebody else if we don't take care of ourselves as well. But we can still do that and still be nice and still be kind and still take care of yourself and not allow yourself to be ran over and any of those things. So we're talking about building a posse, which is your next step. So who are your friends that can help you, that inspire you, that can motivate you, that cheer you on? So we all need cheerleaders, right? We all need those ones who encourage us, you know, that cheers us when we have those moments when we're like, okay, today's a horrible day. I'm trying to motivate myself. I'm trying to be good in this. We need our cheerleaders to come and say, you know, hey, you know, you're doing a good job. Yeah, that happened, but you know what? It's just a moment. We're gonna get through this. And we need those people in our lives that support us, that are there for us, that help us and encourage us during those times. And so trying to find, again, finding our purpose, who are those people? You know, not everyone can go where you're going. Not everyone is here to help you. So we have people who come in and they're just for a season. They're just here one moment, maybe to encourage you, but then they pass on, they leave your life. But the lessons and the legacy they leave behind are those great things. And then taking responsibility for our own actions, taking responsibility for ourselves, decisions we made. And then going from there and saying, okay, I made a bad decision about this. You know, my life took a detour and I went this way and I really meant, you know, meant to go this way. And so we all have detours in life, right? We've all had our detours that took us off to a different path than we saw ourselves, that we envisioned for who we are. And we thought, by now I should be XYZ. I didn't think I would see myself wherever I find myself. And we all had those detours, but through God's grace, He can bring us back. He can take us back to where He wants us to be. And the thing that I love about the life that we live is that everything that we do has a purpose. So even the detour has a purpose. And if you look at it and you say, okay, what did I learn in that detour? What lesson did I learn, and how is that going to help me to where I know I'm supposed to be going? And so we take all of those things and we bring it together. Did I want to be in an abusive marriage? No. Did I want to get cancer? No. And so I take all of those things and I say, okay, how can I use all of the things that I've gone through and then bring it out and use it to help somebody else? Yes, it's not always good. It's not always good for us, good to us, but it works for our good and for someone else. And so how can I use those things to help somebody else? What things have I gone through that I see somebody else struggling with, that I can say, hey, you know what, I've been there. I know what it's like for this to happen. I know what it's like for, XYZ to go on in my life. And let me tell you how I overcome it. This is what I did. This is how I found my place back. And so how do we use all of those things? And again, it's about living purposely. We say to ourselves that the things that's happening to me right now, the things that have happened to me in the past, yes, they weren't good, but I know that there's a purpose behind it. And that purpose is to help somebody else on their journey. Because I've gone through it, I can come back and I can help someone else. And to being your authentic self. So, being yourself. I saw the billboard on Saturday, and it says, you're never too old to be yourself. We spend a lot of time trying to fit into other people's expectations of who we are. We spend so much time, trying to be something else, And I was like, wow. You said you're never too old to be yourself. And so, what does that mean? I was like, okay, God, what does that mean? You maybe see this billboard for no reason, And so, again, here we go, all things working together. I hadn't planned on going on the road that I went on, and I ended up on that road, and I looked up, and there was that billboard, and I was like, wow, I'm coming here to speak to these wonderful people on Friday. But then what does it say for me? At my age, can I be authentic and to be myself at all times and in every situation? And I thought about this, practicing self-care, taking care of yourself. You've got to take care of ourselves. We spend so much time taking care of other people, right? We take care of everyone. We took care of kids. We took care of husbands. We took care of moms and dads, and we took care of friends, and we do all these different things. And the most neglected people is usually ourselves. We put ourselves last because we don't think sometimes that we're worth our own time. And so we're worth it. We're worth the time to take care of ourselves, to decompress, to say, you know what, I don't feel like talking to anybody right now. I'm just gonna go sit in my room, read a book, I'm just gonna go, and the world will be okay. If I take a moment to breathe, the world will be okay. And so we have to give ourselves permission to take care of ourselves. The Bible says that we need to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. So if we can't love ourselves, we can't fully love our neighbor. Okay? So we have to take care of ourselves. And then keep going. Again, I talked about those detours. We got off the road, but we should keep going on doing the things that inspire us, and that encourage us, and that motivates others. Live in the present. You gotta be mindful. We can't change the past. And has anybody ever tried to change the past? You wish it for a different outcome. You were like, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. You know, I wish this didn't happen, I wish this, you know, but wishing is not gonna change it. It happened, right? And so we spend all of our lives living backwards. We never move forward to the place where we need to be. And so how do we stay in the moment of staying where we need to be and to be mindful? And so there's a lot of talk now about being that mindfulness. You know, just take that moment to say, you know, our pastor says every Sunday morning, the only moment we have is right now. You know, the next moment is not promised. You know, tomorrow isn't promised. But all we have is right now. We have the present. This is the gift that we have is right now. And so as we think about my right now, what can I do in the right now, in the here? And so we have to focus on the present and prepare for tomorrow. And so choose faith over fear. So I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about the light bulb, and he's talking about, you know, as he's talking about 99 ways he learned the light bulb wasn't going to work. What if you got to that 99th time and said, you know what, that's okay, I'm not going to try the 100, it didn't work. You know, so all the inventions that we have today, somebody had to take a risk, right? Cars, you know, they were talking about that, you know, a horseless carriage. People said, oh, that's never gonna work. You know, and so all the things that we have, indoor plumbing, you know, all these different things, somebody took a risk and said, what if we did this? And so they chose to have faith that what the idea that they had was gonna work. Or as we would still be living in the dark and with torches and all these different things and going into the woods and all these different things that happen. But somebody chose and they took a risk and they said, you know what, I'm gonna have faith that this is gonna work. I believe in myself. And because I believe in myself, I'm gonna do this. I wanna make the choice to do this. You know, I didn't think I could be a writer. I mean, I written like poetry when I was little and stuff like that, and I never really thought that I could actually write. You know, I was like, well, I didn't graduate from college. I didn't have this experience. I didn't have this. I didn't have that. And, you know, and people said writing was hard, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I could do it. And I took a chance, and then even when I wrote it, you know, I was like, okay, it's done. You know, and I talked about the posse. I was getting ready to do a writer's workshop, and I was having people come, and that person said, you know, about submitting your works if they were going to review them. And I didn't think about myself or my writing. We talking about having that posse. And my mom said, well, are you going to submit your manuscript? Hadn't thought about it. It was there, but I hadn't thought about submitting my own. I was thinking about other people, helping other people, but I never thought about myself. And so she asked me, well, are you going to do it? And I was like, sure, why not? You know, and so I did it, you know, and then here we go. But it was, again, taken that leap of faith and not allowing fear to take over my lack of ability. And I was able to do what I thought was an impossible thing. You know, even being here today, as a child, I used to stutter. And I was really quiet, very shy. I could do one-on-one. You tell me, put me in a room, a bunch of people, and I was like, there was no way I'm getting up and talking, you know. And so, but over the years, I've been propelled into doing what I'm doing, again, not for me, but for the people that, you know, that have a story to tell. You know, I am here to inspire, to encourage, and to motivate. And so, you know, it's not about me, but it's about the people that are there. Trust the process. So learn what you can, release the negative, and focus on what's positive and possible. So relax, relate, release. So relax in the process. It's gonna happen, life's gonna happen, you know, and so when we recognize that life happens, detours come, we can relax and not be so focused on, you know, we've got to get it right. You know, this got to be perfect. You know, if we live that life of trying to have perfection, we will never move. And so we just need to relax in the process, relate. What can I learn? Again, going back to what can I learn from the things that I have gone through in the process, and then release it to someone else. And then don't be afraid to fail. That's the biggest thing. You know, we don't like failure. You know, failure is such a bad word, right? We don't want to fail. And so how can we take even our failures? And my favorite scripture is in Psalms, and he says, whatsoever the righteous does will prosper. And so even our failures, even the things that you know we look at as failure, may be the very thing that we need to move us forward. And so then, last thing, celebrate every win. Every little thing. So if you get up tomorrow morning, even when you get up from your chair and you're able to move and you're able to laugh and you're able to speak and you're able to do all these different things, celebrate that. We can celebrate the life that we have. You know, we were talking about birthdays the other day, and I said, since I can remember, I have always celebrated my birthday. When I started working, I told them I don't work on my birthday. And they were like, why not? I said, my birthday is a national holiday. You know, for me, it's a holiday for me. You know, I'm celebrating the life that I have. And so I'm celebrating everybody else's birthday, George Washington, Lincoln, this president, that president, whoever. You know, well, what about my day? I'm equally as important, right?
Yeah.
And so I take my birthday and I celebrate my day. I celebrate the fact that I am here. You know, 9 years ago, it could have been a different way. But I'm here, and so, and even more, that gave me even more reason to celebrate life. And so every birthday that I have, I'm like, it's a new day, it's a new opportunity. You know, I'm still breathing. When I get up in the morning, it's like, wow, you know, somebody went to sleep last night and didn't get up. And so celebrate those wins. You know, I see a lot of you on here without glasses. I've been wearing glasses since I was 13. I can't see. I take my glasses off, I can't see anything. You know, and so that's a victory. You know, that you're moving, that you're breathing, that you have life. Celebrate those things. Rejoice in those things. You know, every little thing, every win. You know, just having joy. You know, there's so many people that are going through so many different things that we need to celebrate all of those things. So choose to see the positive in every day. There's a rainbow in every day. So even in the midst of our cloudy days, look for the rainbow. Look, the sun is always shining. Look for the sun. Look for the hope. Look for the joy in that day. You know, what can you find that's positive and happy about your day? You know, look for those little things and build on that. You know, I love music, and so you know, songs inspire me and motivate me, and so I love music, and so. You know, if you can't think of something, find a happy song. You know, find your happy, find something that makes you happy. When you hear that song and it puts a smile on your face, use that as your celebration song. You know, think about those different things. There's so much out there that we can do. And then finding your purpose. Think about what is one dream that you can't let go of. What's that one recurring dream that you had that you know what? Keeps coming back up over and over again, and you're like, you know what? I still want to teach. I still want to do, you know, whatever it is that's in you that you can't get rid of. What is that one thing that you have? And we're gonna do some exercises with that in a little bit. What is something in your world that you would like to see change? You said, you know what? I wish they would do this. That person, that if you see that. I had an elder in our church who says, if you see it and it bothers you, then there's something for you to do. And so, what is that thing in your world that just bothers you? You're just like, you know what? This needs to change. This needs to. That's your purpose. It's bothering you. It's on you. And every time you see it, and every time you hear about it, it's like, I wish they would do X, Y. Okay, how about you be the change? You know, they have this saying said, you be the change that you want to see in your world. So if you see it, I work with say something, say something, and I added do something. So if you see something, do something about it. And then I let that be what moves you. And so if money was not an obstacle, what would you do? So if you had all the money in the world to do what you wanted to do, what would you do? And then I just gave you some inspirational people in here. We talking about the golden age success stories. We talked about Sarah and Abraham. Not saying anyone needs to go have children at 90. However, you know, they were the nation at 90 and 99. Moses delivered a nation, he was 120. And in the arts, we have actress Dorothy Steele. First movie she ever did, last year, she did Black Panther. First time ever acting in a movie, she was 92 years old. So that was her dream, she was 92, first time in a movie. And so, you know, here she is. How about Audrey Crabtree? She was 99 years old when she graduated from high school. She decided, you know, I'm still living. I don't have my high school diploma, and I want my high school diploma. 99 years old when she graduated. And I was like, wow. And so, you know, everybody knows my grandma Moses. You know, when she started painting, you know, they said because she had arthritis in her hands, she used to do needlepoint, and she couldn't see, and so she started painting. And here she was becoming famous. Somebody saw something that she did, and here she was in her 90s. James Parkinson was 62 when he identified Parkinson's disease. James Watson, he's still a molecular biologist and geneticist. He's 90 years old, and he still travels the world doing things that just is amazing. It's with Diana Niad, I thought about her. She swam from Florida to Cuba. And she's the first person ever to swim without a protective cage. So there are sharks in those waters, and she swam the distance between Florida and Cuba, 120 miles, and she was 69 at the time. And so there is so much that we can do. There's still life in you. There's still opportunities for you. And so what we're gonna do, we're gonna talk about vision. So I'm gonna have you do a vision board. Has anybody ever done a vision board before? Have you ever done a vision board? You've never done a vision board? Great. So a vision board is this. You'll get a piece of cardstock, and I have magazines, and so you're gonna cut out some pictures of words that speak to you, and you use them, you put it before you to kind of remind you of your why. You know, I have markers and all those color pencils and things, and so these kind of remind you of your why. So, you know, Rebecca says to write the vision and make it plain, so that those who see it can run with it. So if you don't have the vision before you, they said that whatever you write down and share with someone else, you're more than likely, you're 70% likely to complete that vision. So if you write it down, you tell somebody, you're more than likely to accomplish whatever it is that you want to do. And so to have that vision before you and to write it down, and even just sometimes we have it in our heads, and we never share it, we never get it out of our heads. And so we put it on paper, it makes it more real. And I think that's a lot of times we don't write down our vision, we don't write down our dreams because we're thinking, you know, oh, that's impossible, you know, it's not gonna happen. But when we write it down, it gives some reality to what it is that we're doing. Okay. So my daughter's gonna give you all some poster board. We've got, I said, I've got pens, we've got markers, we've got scissors, we've got
some
bunch of stuff.
markers and stuff.
Okay.
Good, thank you.
So what you're gonna do is, we've got scissors, so you can cut out the pictures. I've got glue as well.
What if you take
Cut out the word, like maybe your thing is to go to Italy and you see your picture of traveling and you want to, your dream is to go visit Italy or go, overseas, or your dream is, again, like you said, to whatever it is that you, whatever you want to do.
Why don't we just call the angels? I'm gonna, Lucille, yeah. Why don't you have a seat and I'll just call your aides?
Yeah.
I don't,
I have a heart here.
I know, so I don't necessarily want. Okay, let me call your aide, because I don't want, yeah. No.
You move